Hey Internet, senior software photographer here, and today I want to talk with you guys about how you can test your expired film. I have this roll of 35mm film that has been generously sent me by one of my subscribers, and I have a pretty ambitious project in mind using this film. So I want to be on the safe side, even though it's like black and white film that has been expired since 2009, so it's relatively fresh film and there should be absolutely no problem, but I kinda come up with the idea how one can test expired film and I want to try it out. So as you can see here, I printed out the little dynamic range chart and I also added some color patches. It's not absolutely accurate, but it's gonna be enough for my needs. So as you might guess, I'm going to just shoot one frame and I will know the exposure upfront because I will be metering the exposure on the middle gray with my digital camera, and this is something that any camera can do. And then the next frame I'm gonna take with my Zenith and I will basically develop the one frame and using the stand development, and then I will scan it and then I will compare the results. Basically that's the idea, so I will know let's say how many stops my film is off, so how many stops I should be overexposing while shooting it, and just to get to know the, let's say, the feeling of the film. So basically yes, right now I'm going to load the film in a changing bag, because when you load the 35mm film, you usually, pull the film out of the canister, and actually you basically ruin quite a few shots, like up to 4 shots that you could have made with this film by just pulling it out of the container, and I don't want to lose like any of this film, so I'm going to load in my camera in the changing bag, shooting one frame, then getting it back in the changing bag with the scissors. I'm going to cut the film inside my changing bag, and I'm going to process this piece of film to see how it behaves. So now I'm metering and it tells me that it should be around 1/25th of a second at f3.5 and ISO 100. I think I'm gonna be overexposing one stop just to be on a safe side. Yeah, and then we'll see how it looks. So the problem is that Zenith camera can go only as low as 1/30th of a second. I'm gonna take advantage of my aperture, so I'm going to use f2. So 1/30th of a second, f2, and yeah, this is like ISO 100 film inside. So I'm going to focus because why not? And I'm going to take this shot. Done. Now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna open up the camera without winding the film back, and then I'm going to cut everything that sticks out of the canister, and then I'm going to wind this film on my reel basically, and then I'm going to stand develop this in retinal basically. And I also gonna make sure that my film sits between those little balls, so they kind of hold the piece of film nice and snug, so film won't come off in my development tank and won't be like floating freely. And I'm also removing the lens, so my camera is a little bit more compact without the lens. So yeah, because I have a really small changing bag and the size really matters. So everything is in the changing bag, just double checking. So I open the camera and I'm just pulling the film off the reel of the spool of the camera. I close the camera, so basically now I'm holding the canister and my scissors. Got it. So film goes in this corner, camera goes in this corner. I mean the canister with the film. And here I have my film to be developed, and my spiral is here, and I put the film on the spiral. Okay, so now I'm putting everything in the tank. Done. So now I'm going to stand develop the film for 1 hour in retinal, and then I will scan it and show the results. And this is my negative, guys. As you can see, it's pretty good. I'm gonna wait until it's dry and then I'm gonna scan it. So I found this website. This is an exposure difference calculator, and I put my initial exposure from my digital camera as an exposure A, and then I put as an exposure B, I put an exposure that that I used to actually take the shot, and this calculator tells me that I overexposed my image 1 1/3 stop. So I will take it into account and see how film actually reacted. I think I overexposed it a little bit, but yeah, we'll see when I scan it. And my scanner would always suggest auto exposure, but that's not something that I need, because auto exposure will cut off a lot of dynamic range, and I want to have it all. So I'm gonna reset everything, so you see I got a much more flat image, and I'm gonna scan it. So this is the scan, and I can now evaluate let's say dynamic range. I can see that this is something that I can still distinguish, and yeah, the shadows, as you can see, starting from zone 2 is actually indistinguishable, and this is just again how to say proves the fact that film is much more can withstand the overexposure than underexposure. So it is always better to expose to the shadows, so you don't lose any details in shadows, and then you can still, you know, pull those details in the highlights. I think I'm gonna be exposing it as 100. I'm not going to overexpose it. So yeah, guys, that's basically it. So this is how you can test like any film basically before you shoot it. And imagine I had like a color film which is much more sensitive to age, then I would do just the same. This is how to do it with a 35mm film, and how you would do it with medium format film I'm going to do a separate video. And that's it for today. I'm pretty happy with the results. I think I'm gonna use this film to do a test run for my project, and then I'm going to maybe use the fresh film, because I really want to get a you know, nice results. And then of course I will scan it not at home, but maybe at some professional laboratory to get really nice results. So yeah, but that's it, basically it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.